financial backers and supporters, and so there's some question of what happens when he leaves. Would he be helpful or damaging from the outside? How would his exit happen if it were to, in fact, this is something space when you have the president's own allies saying your staffer is not serving you, sir, that you could see will get the attention of the president now. We'll see if he pulls the trigger. He's been reluctant to fire people. He, as you saw with the very extraordinary circumstances that led to the ouster of Reince Priebus, his former chief of staff.
That's right. Margaret Brennan with the very latest on another busy day with the White House. Margaret, thank you. Several major magazines are pointing new criticism at President Trump and his comments after Charlottesville in their new covers. But they're not the only ones who have problems with the president. Katie Glick is a senior political correspondent for McClatchy, and she joins us now. Katie, you talked with dozens of GOP operatives, activists for a piece that came out on Wednesday. This was the headline: Republicans deeply anxious that Trump is ruining the GOP brand. I'm sure you've heard even more since then. Give us some sense of the feeling right now.
Sure. Well, great to be with you. There is a lot of frustration among Republicans who feel that they have spent years trying to broaden the base. They have gone into diverse communities, tried to make the Republican brand something that would appeal more broadly. Right. This is an effort, of course, as you know, that started really intensely after the 2012 election when Republicans...
That was the problem.
Exactly.
There wasn't a broad enough base.
Exactly. And they made significant efforts to engage in the Latino community and young people and African Americans, and a lot of Republicans this week feel that the president's remarks about Charlottesville have undermined all of those efforts.
And did it get more intense then after he sort of doubled down on those remarks?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So there was frustration for sure that he did not come out on Saturday with words that many felt were strong enough in the first place. But the fact that, as one North Carolina activist told me, who has in fact really focused his efforts on engaging the African American community, he pointed out, the president saw the reaction from white supremacists. They appreciated the fact that, in his view, the remarks were a bit equivocating on Saturday, and then he still came out there on Tuesday and sort of doubled down on that initial position, and so that was very frustrating to a lot of people.
One of the other things in the news today, President Trump is supposed to be the business president. I mean, he was supposed to court business, and now there is word he has dissolved two of his business groups that were supposed to be advisory boards as members were leaving, and that the Council on Infrastructure was still being formed, and that's not going to happen now. How much is this going to hurt the president that was supposed to be this business-first president not having business on his side?
Well, these developments underscore how much he is already hurting, because, of course, these developments come after a number of businesses have already made the decision to leave some of his advisory councils in the wake of the way that he handled the Charlottesville moment. And so it certainly helps explain why folks in the business community are maybe raising more reservations about him now. And so it looks like he's maybe trying to head off a problem again.
President Trump continued attacks on Senators Lindsey Graham and Jeff Flake, and he will be going to Arizona. We saw in Margaret's piece, even endorsing an opponent there. He'll be going to Arizona. How do you expect that reception to be?
Well, it'll probably be a great reception for the president in Arizona. He remains very popular with the Republican base for sure, as much as his approval rating hit a historic low this week, with almost everybody else